Hey, what's up? So, Getgood drums, for those of you who aren't already familiar with it, what it is a high-quality drum sample library that's designed to be used with Native Instruments Kontakt plugin. And Kontakt is essentially a host program for a wide variety of different virtual instruments and sample libraries. GGD was created by Adam Getgood, Matt Halpern, and a few other very talented individuals. And I've been friends with these guys for quite a long time, and so when they asked me to check out this library, I was really excited about it because Adam, or Nolly, if you're a homie or spend a lot of time on the internet, is a very talented producer, and his drum sounds are always insane. So I had really high expectations for this plugin, and to me it totally delivers and sounds awesome. So let's take a closer look at it and check it out. Okay, so the setup on GGD is fairly straightforward. I already had Kontakt installed, so it was just a matter of downloading and installing the library and then pulling it up within Kontakt, and you're ready to use it right away. Alright, so within this library, you have a few different varieties of samples here to choose from. On the kick, you have two different kicks. You have a 16 and a 20. On your snare, it looks like you get 5 different snare drums to choose from. I'm currently using the low. And then on your toms, you have a choice of either clear or coated heads, which is pretty cool. And then your cymbals, you have a few different cymbal options that you can interchange and play around with. And then of course on the settings, you have pretty much everything you would ever need in terms of MIDI mapping. You can map it any way you want. But in addition to that, they give you a couple different map options here. So if you're used to programming in a different drum plugin, such as Superior, which is what I'm used to, you can load that up and all the notes will be where you're used to them being. So that's pretty cool. That's the one that I loaded up. Programming drums with this is basically the same as you would with any other drum plugin. If you've ever programmed drums before, it's the same thing. You use a piano roll. Some people will use Fruity Loops or any other kind of sequencer to program their drums. It's the same thing with this. Now what I've done here for the programming on this video is I tried to recreate my boy Rudy's drum performance on the Conquering Dystopia record on the song Kufra at Dusk. Now here you can see that I have my velocities sort of hand dialed in. There's a feature in this DAW where you can humanize the notes, which helps a lot in making it sound like it isn't a robot. A lot of the velocities that I have here are really pretty hard, and the reason for that is because Rudy really does hit like a truck, and in order to make it sort of sound like the performance, at least as close as I could get it to his awesome performance on that record, I had to peg a lot of the velocities. But the cool thing about these particular samples is, we'll take the snare for example. If you go down and you look at the snare, the velocity range on this is really pretty wide. You start out really soft, kind of ghost hits, and you go all the way up. When you peg it, it's just a straight rim shot, and it sounds insane. And it's kind of cool to have that just on one note rather than having your rim shot on a different note or something. You can set it up that way, I suppose, but I think it's kind of cool to have that sort of dynamics on one note. So I'll just play a little bit of this for you so you can kind of hear how it sounds on its own. So the way that I process these drums is really pretty minimal, and the reason why I did that was so you guys could kind of hear what the samples sound like on their own with just like a subtle tweak. And I did it using all native stock Personas plugins, which is something I would never do. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to be able to offer this session to people as a template. If you have GGD and Kontakt in Studio One, you should be able to load it up and play with it, so that's pretty cool. Normally I would use any variety of universal audio plugins or something like that, you know, some pretty high quality plugins, something other than the native plugins to process these, and you'd get a much better result, to be honest, I'm sure. But here I just have very mild stuff going on, so however you want to process them. You can make them sound super metallic, or you can get more of an organic kind of acoustic sound, and it's going to do whatever you want it to do. It's just kind of up to you to however you want to process it. I went for more of a straight metal sound with this because that's kind of what the song called for. But again, you can look at the velocities here and see that I have a lot of them that are pretty pegged, and some of them are right in the middle. With the kick, you have that thing cranked all the way up. You're kind of burying the beater, and that's where the beater is going to stick to the head after you smash it. And the lower you go with it, the more boomy it gets, which is cool if that's what you're going for. Like here, you see I have the kick pulled down quite a bit. So there you go, playing around with GGD. It's a great addition to a home studio. The way that I plan on using these is to mix them with some of the samples that I already know and love. I've actually been a tune track artist for a number of years, and I find that mixing these samples with some of the ones that I am familiar with and that I use a lot really kind of enhances them to blend them that way. You can get yourself a little bit more unique sound, and the samples are just really high quality. So I'll definitely be finding a use for these, and I encourage anyone to go out there and pick it up. The guys who created this are great dudes, and they deserve support for their hard work, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So, peace.